Hello, welcome to the studio. Today we are discussing the British Grand Prix, and if you are new here, this is Race Around. I am Lex, and we cover all things Formula One here. And today it is an interesting video, especially because the British Grand Prix is a packed weekend. But to learn more, you'll have to keep watching. Either way, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the share button if you please, and turn on all notifications so you never miss my upload. And roll the intro. Y'all, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm going through a breakup right now, and I may cry. So, warned you now. I mean, it's just great when the guy that you're dating tells you that you're just not enough for him. Either way, let's keep going. Okay, so the British Grand Prix or Silverstone, is a jam-packed weekend, like I was saying. But let's talk about the history of this gorgeous track and why it is important to a lot of people. There are a shit ton of British drivers. And hold on, I'm scrolling all the way to the top of my notes. But let's first talk about this track. Established in 1950, it is 5.891 kilometers long. There are 52 laps, and the lap record is held by Max Verstappen in 2020 with a 127.097. There are 163 F1 drivers from the United Kingdom. Mike Hawthorne was the first British world champion who won in 1958. Jackie Stewart is a three-time world champion who won in 1969, 1971, and 1973. Nigel Mansell is a two-time champion in 1986 and 1987. Graham Hill is a two-time champion in these are all British people, by the way, in 1968 and 1980, or I think this was 67. His son, Damon Hill, is a one-time world champion in 1996. James Hunt is a one-time champion who is also the star in Rush, or like the story focuses around the battle between Niki Lauda and James Hunt, if you ever seen Rush. John Surtees is a one-time champion in 1964, but he is the only person to ever win on two wheels, not four. And what I mean by that, he has won in MotoGP and in F1. And Jenson Button, one-time world champion. And of course, we have Mr. Lewis Hamilton, the seven-time world champion from 2008, 2013 to 2015, and 2017 to 2020. Three more current F1 drivers are the 2019 rookies, who are all British. Alex Albon races under the Thai flag because his mother is from Thailand. Lando is, wow, I haven't updated this. Lando is second in the world championship right now. I believe he has 6 wins under his belt at this point. George is I want to say 4-time winner. Alex has not won a race yet, but is only a matter of time. Many F1 teams are based in England. McLaren, Aston Martin, and Mercedes are all based there. Same with Red Bull, technically. It's an Austrian company, but it's like technically based in Milton Keynes. Simultaneously, so like I was saying, the current F1 drivers who are British are Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton, technically Alex Albon, but he doesn't race under the British flag, George Russell, and I'm mentally double checking. I believe that's it. If not, I'll put it on the screen. Ollie Berman. Name also no. Yeah, no, I think that's it. But simultaneously, Friday was 4th of July if you're an American, as you can tell by my American shirt, which is kind of ironic for this video, but we have to talk about the most recent American F1 driver, I fear, and that is Mr. Logan Sargent. I love Logan. He is not a part of motorsport really anymore. He kind of is. He was a part of some kind of motorsport, I believe in Japan, but he raced for Williams in 2023 and then for part of 2024, but he was dropped for Franco Colapinto. And he was an icon. I loved him thoroughly, not only because I'm patriotic, but also because, yeah, just he was an icon. Either way, I miss him deeply, but it's fine. This is one of the tracks where each corner has a name, and let's get into it because there's a lot here. So, corners. Turn 1 is called the Abbey. It's the first flat-out turn and is named after the ancient Luftfield Abbey, which remains like somewhere near the corner. In it was founded in sometime before 1133 and was suppressed by King Henry the Sixth in 1493. I did so much research on this and I do not remember when. Turn 2 is called the Farm, and it is called that because I don't know why it's called that, but now it is like a left-hander which points the cars to feed back into the pits, which is very important for the 2025 Grand Prix. In turn 3 is called Village. I'm not going to go through all of the history of these because I don't think y'all care, and I don't either. Turn 4 is called the Loop, and turn 5 is called Antry. Then it is the Wellington Straight, formerly known as the National Straight, and it is the run down from Brooklands, renamed in 2020 because they had to like change the track up a bit. Either way, Brooklands is turn 6. Brooklands, not like Brooklyn, Brooklands. Yeah. Left field is turn 7, and turn 8 is called Woodcote, and Corpse is turn 9. Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel are turns 10 through 14, but they're like a little combo. Then is the Hangar Straight because this Silverstone used to be a like British Air Force base, and so it's super windy there, and it's great for racing. But turn 15 is called Stowe, turn 16 is Val, and turn 17 is Club. So yeah, you'll see why it's important to know these. But yeah, I mean, I think Silverstone is just a gorgeous track. It's one of my favorite Grand Prix. And Silverstone in 2023 was actually kind of where McLaren came back because McLaren had a shitty like first half, or I guess this is technically like the first half of the season, but they just weren't doing great in 2023. And then they bring updates in Austria, and they did. I think Lando got like P8 and Oscar got like P10, I want to say. But then they come in for Silverstone and they ended. I don't know if they ended P2 and P3, but they at least qualified there. Either way, it was very exciting. There's this video of me in 2023 jumping up and down, screaming because, I mean, I've been a Lando fan. Also, I just realized you can fully see, like, the cutoff of my thing, so, whoops. Either way, let's get into it. In FP1, Arvid Lindbad was in for Yuki, and Paul Aron was in for Nico Hulkenberg. Gabriel Bortoleto locks up and spins, and Pierre spins in Cobbs. And the top 3 is composed of Lewis, Lando, and Oscar. In FP2, Carlos spins due to the wind, and the top 3 are Lando, Charles, and Lewis. In FP3, there is a red flag because Gabriel Bortoleto had a big spin, his suspension broke, and then Ollie crashed going into the pits. Not sure how. Pierre was in lots of people's ways, and then the top 3 was Charles, Oscar, and Max. In qualifying, in Q1, Franco Colapinto spins in turn 18. He was fine. But the thing, if you don't know, so Franco Colapinto was brought in 6 races ago to replace Jack Doohan because Jack Doohan just wasn't getting the job done, I guess. I don't really know. But he's done a fine job. You know, it hasn't been great. It hasn't been terrible. Either way, it's not looking too bright. It kind of seems like they're going to try and replace him again, maybe with, like, I don't even know who they're going to try and replace him with because, like, who's going to want to go in that seat? But we'll see. Okay. In Q2, I literally have no notes. And in Q3, there was a bunch of fighting for pole, but shockingly, Mr. Max Verstappen came out of the blue. He was like, this car is terrible, gets pole. My icon, I fear, I love him. There will be no Max hate here. There will be no Max and no Lando hate here because they're icons and I won't take anything else. Another fun fact, Carlos Sainz got his first win in F1 after six or 7 years of being in F1 here in 2022, I want to say. I don't know. Carlos Sainz is also one of my favorites. Okay. Let's get to the race. So, the Grand Prix. We start. It's cloudy. It's windy. There's a bit of a drizzle. There's some standing water on the track. So, the formation lap is under a safety car. Okay? pretty much everyone was starting on intermediates, and most likely a lot of people were going to box after the safety lap. So Charles and George are the two main people. Well, there are other people who box, but these are like the people who were like in the front runners. Charles boxes and goes on to mediums, and George goes on to hards. Yellow flag, because a racing bull went into the wall. Not great. Aachen had damage, don't know why, but he did. VSC, or virtual safety car. And virtual safety car just means all of the drivers have to drive at 1/8 speed, I think it is. But there's no overtaking. That's the important part. Anyway, so Liam Lawson hit Esteban Ocon, and Lawson had pulled onto the side, and Liam just didn't really see him, I believe. I think Ocon was okay. Liam was not. Fernando, like, just retired. He kind of, like, just disappeared. He stalled in second and just kind of left after not... I didn't even think he made it one lap. Kimi Antonelli goes on to slicks. The safety car leaves. The safety car was in... There was a virtual safety car, and then after the Ocon and Lawson contact, there was a full safety car. So then the safety car leaves, and there was predicted rain in, like, 10 laps. Okay? Gabriel Bortoleto goes into the wall at farm, but kept it going. He's told to retire, then it is a virtual safety car. Oscar is able to get in front of Max Verstappen at this point, and DRS is disabled. No bueno, not allowed. Okay, so Oscar, Lando, and Max pit. Alex made it to P2 at some point. It was, as the British would say, chucking it down. There was a full safety car. Before the safety car was in, Charles completely went over the grass. It was kind of comical. I was like, so in fact, that isn't the way you do that corner. Hey, Queen. But I get it. It's hard. I'm not saying anything. Either way. Max makes a lunge for Oscar, but safety car ending, and then yellow flag because Isaac Hadjar goes into the wall. Not great. Safety car again, because when Isaac went into the wall right before, he hit Kimi. Okay, and so then safety car out, and okay, Oscar did this thing where he kind of like, I forget the like official term for it, but he basically just stomped on his brakes. And I guess that made Max spin. I mean, I don't know if I would consider that, but like, either way, Max spins and he falls like, I would say like 6 places, and Oscar gets a 10-second penalty for this braking. The Hazes hit each other, and Charles goes into the gravel at Stowe. During all of this, Lando Norris is in front, and Oscar Piastri is in second, and Oscar is saying, like, I should go in front, da-da-da-da. That doesn't happen. Lando stays in front. Whatever. But the most important part of this Grand Prix, I fear, was Mr. Nico Hülkenberg, who, let me double check how many races he has been in. Hold on. Ah. Give me 1 second, and I'll be back, and we'll talk about Nico. Okay, so Nico Hülkenberg. Well, I also forgot to talk about this, so maybe I'll put this in the beginning, or I'll just leave it now. But Mr. Lando Norris had the Lando stands or like a Lando grandstand, and I have never in my life felt more FOMO. I mean, the bright green. Okay, also Lando did a collaboration with Monster. Looks radioactive. I don't know. It's not available in the US yet, I believe. And so the Lando stands were like a Lando grandstand, and it was just beautiful. And I've truly never felt more FOMO because big Lando fan over here. Either way, back to talking about Nico Hülkenberg. Nico Hülkenberg has been in F1 for nearly 14 years, or not nearly, 14 years. He's been here since 2011. He's switched between several teams, and he has never achieved a podium. He's gotten close, but never fully achieved it, okay? So, this British Grand Prix, the 2025 British Grand Prix, was his 239th race start, and he achieved his first podium. He is, I forget how old he is, but it is just great to see because Nico is a very talented driver, and it's just great. I mean, it's just great. I mean, he's 37 years old, and he achieved his first podium. He has been a part of, let's look. I mean, it should tell me. He has won Le Mans before. yeah, see, so his first entry was the 2010 Bahrain Grand Prix, and his latest entry was this race. Um, okay, so he joined with Williams in 2010, and then he went to Force India in 2000 from 2011 to 2012. In 2013, he was with Sauber, which is the same as Sauber now, but Sauber went through phases. Then he went back to Force India from 2014 to 2016. And then he went to Renault from 2017 to 2019, where he was teammates with Carlos Sainz and he was teammates with Carlos Sainz and Danny Rick, or Daniel Ricciardo. And then he was the Racing Point reserve driver in 2020, and then he was the Aston Martin reserve driver from 2021 to 2022. And then in 2023 to 2024, he was at Haas with Kevin Magnussen, and they were my favorite bromance. They hated each other, but then they worked it out, and they're the ultimate girl dads, so it was amazing. And then now he is back to Sauber. Either way, it is just beautiful. I don't know. I'm not an Eco fan, but he's not one of my favorite drivers or anything. But I truly am proud of him because 214 years in F1, no podium, and he achieved his first podium. That's just so. He's a really talented driver. So there's no questioning whether or not he deserved to be in F1. It was just a lack of results due to the cars he was in or the conditions. But I don't know. I think it's really impressive, and it makes me very happy to see him achieve his first podium. Either way, yeah, that is everything that happened in the British Grand Prix, plus history of British F1 drivers, etc. I think it's really interesting when it comes to F1. I feel like I don't know what country holds the most F1 champions. I would say it's probably England by just numbers. I think by championships, I would guess it's probably England as well, but I would put money on Germany as a close second because of Sebastian Vettel and Michael Schumacher. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see a driver get their first podium or their first win, but first podium is also special as well. And especially after this long, think about it. He's been in F1 for almost as long as I've been alive. That's crazy. Either way. Yeah, so I had something I want to say and now I forgot. Yeah, I'm thinking of Logan Sargent a lot recently, and I'm not sure why. Maybe because it's 4th of July. One of my favorite clips is from the Team Torque or the Williams podcast thing. And it was Logan and some other person. It wasn't Alex. And they're talking, and the person's Logan's do you know what weekend it is? And the person who's British is it's the British Grand Prix. And he goes, no, it's 4th of July weekend. Either way, I'm wishing Logan all the best. I think he's kind of done with motorsport, though. Either way. Did I even say Lando won? Lando won, and he brought down the championship divide a tiny bit, which is always a good thing. Let's read off the championship right now. Okay. Okay. Oscar Piastri is sitting P1 in the Drivers' Championship with 234 points. Lando is in P2 with 226 points. Max Verstappen is in P3 with 165 points. George Russell is in P4 with 147 points. Oscar is in... what? Blech. Charles is in P5 with 119 points, and I'll put the rest on your screen. And constructors-wise, it's just Red Bull reigning crazy dominant. Yeah, Red Bull has double over McLaren or Ferrari, who's in second. So the only sad thing about the podium this year was if Lewis Hamilton were to have achieved a podium, he would have kept his streak, which I believe he's been on the podium at Silverstone for 11 years, I want to say, or something like that. So it is kind of sad to see that end, but you win some, you lose some. I don't know. There's also a lot of discussion about Max Verstappen going to Mercedes, which I would say this is the christening of F1 silly season. So, I could see it happening, frankly, but it'll be weird. It'll be weird. But I mean, like, none of us thought that Lewis was actually going to go to Ferrari, and look at where we are. I guess we'll see. But this isn't the first time that there have been rumors about Max Verstappen going to Mercedes. There were rumors in like 2018, I want to say, about him going to Mercedes. Clearly didn't pan out. But yeah, I think it's interesting to see what will happen. Part of me, like, selfishly wants him to go to Mercedes just in case he wins his fifth, because then him and Sebastian Vettel are tied for how many championships they have at Red Bull, because Sebastian Vettel is my favorite driver of all time. Or is it in frame? Yeah, it is in frame. This is Sebastian's 20. I can take this. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, this is his RB9, so 2013 car where he won the championship. Yeah. I have no idea what Max Verstappen's going to do. I don't think Max knows what he's going to do. I think his contract with Red Bull ends in 2028, I want to say, but I mean, he could break it. I am curious who Red Bull would bring in to replace Max, because, like, who can you? But if Max does get picked up by Red Bull, that means George Russell is out of a seat. So there's just a lot up in the air, and I guess we'll see what happens. But overall, I would say silly season is on its horizon. Either way, you'll have to stay tuned to hear more about silly season. But that is everything you need to know about the 2025 British Grand Prix. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that share button if you please, and turn on all notifications so you never miss an upload. There is a 2-week break until Spa, I believe, and I will be filming that in Paris, I believe. So fun. But yeah, I love you all. Make decisions, don't do bad things, and I'll see you next episode, hopefully. Okay, roll the outro.